Good afternoon, and welcome to a quick presentation of how Currents, the custom clothing company, benefits from big data. First, I want to take a quick look at big data and its challenges as it applies to our organization. These come from a data analytics firm, Lavastorm, and a survey that they did, and I feel like they're very relevant to our the challenges that we're going to face as we implement our new data solution. First one being data integration. With us, especially, we have a customized, clothing portal which allows clients to, create custom items, and it doesn't always play well with outside software, so that's a challenge that we've had to address. Also, the volume of data that we have is quite large. Right now, we have quite a few clients in the tens of thousands. We hope to grow that much larger through the use of this data solution. And so, obviously, we had to look at the volume of data and how we were going to properly store and access that. The skills availability, we have a great staff, a great and varied skill set across the board. But if everybody doesn't understand how to utilize the new data solution properly, it's not going to do us any good. So that was a challenge we had to keep in mind. And of course, the cost. We are a growing organization, but we are in no way, shape, or form a large organization yet. So therefore, we have to balance the cost of moving forward with this data solution with the rest of our business needs. That being said, there are a few other challenges that we may run into across the board, but these are the top four. I do feel that they are relevant to our situation, and so therefore those are the ones we're going to focus on going forward, and those are the ones that we really addressed in the majority of the tasks that we had to tackle in creating this business solution. Um, Next, exactly how big data applies directly to us and what we're trying to accomplish. Um, you know, the components of big data that we use are we're going to utilize data collection because our clients go to the website, they build their profile, enter in their details for preferences and clothing choices, so on and so forth. And then we use that information to provide them with proper recommendations. So that way that they will not only purchase items that they want and love, but also they will come back for repeat business, and we can even bring them back in for special circumstances that maybe they didn't even realize they wanted to come back in for. Data storage. Obviously, right now we have been using just a small, typical data server because that's all that was taking to utilize the tools that we needed and to store the data necessary for our client interactions. However, with this new business solution, we are going to need to have a much larger amount of data available. So we're going to be utilizing a cloud storage solution that allows us to access the data here and then also for us to work remotely if we need to. So that way, if we have a team that is off site for the day or whatever, they can still have access even through their mobile phones and tablets to to take care of business if necessary, but also to make sure that everything continues to run smoothly. Um, Data access is very important for us. The ability for us to, as I just said, utilize different types of devices to access the data is really going to be key to us continuing to be successful going forward. It also allows us to continue to be nimble and make adjustments on the fly because we can see what's there. On the other side of that is the access for our clients. I mean, obviously, when our client or our customer goes to the website, logs into their profile, their data needs to be easily accessible so that way they have the ability to make changes or update it as their preferences and tastes change. And then that ties into data presentation. Data presentation is twofold. One piece of it is the way it's presented to the client through the website, through their personal profile portal, but then also how our internal teams utilize it. If accounting doesn't have the ability to see the relevant numbers and information properly as to how expensive it is to produce a certain garment, then they can't pass on to the business sales team, which then can create the pricing model and make sure that we have the right costs in effect for the items that our clients are purchasing. But all of this data won't do us any good if we don't govern our data properly. And simply put, that is just a way of us making sure that our data practices are adhered to, make sure that our data needs are aligned across the enterprise, and then also make sure that as time goes on, we have the ability to be flexible with our data needs and our data practices so that they are always on point. I was doing some research on an article by Jay Harris around enforcing data governance policies. And there was a few key items that he came up with. First one, documentation. Very simply put, we have created extensive documentation to in the form of a data implementation manual that everybody has access to, so to make sure that everything is enforced properly, it is implemented properly, and so that nobody can say, well, I didn't know how that was supposed to work. Um, this is going to be rolled out through communication through our task force that we've created, which is comprised of the different department heads. Their job is going to be to take the teaching and training that they are given, take that back out to their teams, implement it on the ground running, and take back to them relevant retrainings and updates as time goes on. We're going to track this through metrics. Metrics, simply put, is a real world way of looking at how effective we have been at managing our data, gathering our data, and implementing our data. So those metrics are then going to be bubbled back up to the department heads. The department heads are going to then take that retraining, communication, or in this case, remediation, back to their individual teams, so that way the teams can make the changes that are necessary. As time goes on, those metrics are going to be viewable by upper management, so that way they can see exactly how our data solution is being implemented. And lastly, refinement. This is not going to be a one and done solution. This is going to be an organic solution that changes over time and adjusts to current business needs, but also how the business climate is changing around us. One of the tools that we are definitely using within our business solution is dimensional modeling. Dimensional modeling is a concept about from data warehousing from Kimball, and Kimball basically states that dimensional modeling is taking and applying our data more usefully across our organization while still allowing a level of detail um, necessary to be able to properly function. That being said, this really applies into us in two ways, the two main components of dimensional modeling. Fact tables, which, fact tables, simply put, is going to be what houses the numerical data. So the raw sales numbers, the number of fabrics, the number of clients, so on and so forth. And then also dimensional tables. Dimensional tables is what exactly that those fact tables are containing. Like, what are those key pieces? It's really important to note that while we are looking at the overall picture of dimensional modeling and how it applies to our organization, um, we're going to be able to use these models and techniques to allow for us to create the data gathering pages that the customers can use for their customization and ordering purposes, which is going to allow the corresponding data figures to be used by the business analytics team to analyze for sales patterns, effectiveness of sales and discounts, and so on and so forth. The importance about this is it also allows for the client to be able to see information that is easily digestible and will encourage future purchases based on the recommendations of our customization software. To wrap it all up, I just want to say, great job for getting it here. We've spent 3 years getting to this place here, from a small little boutique shop on Amazon all the way up here to, serving tens of thousands of current clients. We started strong. We have great potential. The potential we have for the future is fantastic. It's going to be really important that we implement this business solution so that way we can become the market maker as opposed to the one who's always reacting to what our competitors are doing. This is going to allow us to continue to offer world-class service to our clients and become the leader in the custom clothing sector. Thank you for your time.